so damn hot.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel, Short Slabs. Here I bring you the best content on YouTube related to sports card grading, hobby trends, and market analysis so that you can enjoy the hobby either as a collector, flipper, or investor. Woo-wee! Sports are back! Woo-hoo! And the hobby is insane right now, guys. Are you all watching what's going on right now? Trying to come up with the hottest 20 cards in the hobby for this month has been super challenging. But now that baseball's back in full swing, NBA is tipping off this weekend, and Patty Mania is going on. We have Bowl Mania, and Luka is just being Luka. Pick any player over the past 6 to 8 weeks, and they are probably up big. I've had so many people over the past 4 to 6 weeks come out of the woodwork and ask me what is going on with sports cards, who don't really follow the hobby. So it is absolutely crazy. But guys, a hot list is supposed to be just that, a hot list, an attempt to capture the hottest cards in the market, and this is going to be my attempt to do just that for this month in what can only be described as literally the hottest market in the sports card history. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Alright guys, this hot list is so freaking hot. I'm not doing 20 cards, I'm doing 25 cards, but I'm not just doing 25 cards, I'm also going to list some honorable mentions. Because as I was trying to come up with this list, there really were just too many cards that are up. There really are. So I'm listing 3 honorable mentions here, and I can't have a hot list without listing these 3, just because everything is so hot right now. So the 3 honorable mentions in no particular order are 2012 Panini Prism Klay Thompson PSA 10 rookies. These have been trading at roughly $500 over the past month. If you go back even further than that, we're talking just a couple of months ago. These were $200 to $250 cards. Some months, maybe around $150 a card, maybe right at the beginning of the pandemic. These are now trading at $750 in PSA 10 grade. Everything, this entire hot list could all be 2012 Panini Prism. Everything 2012 Panini Prism is on fire right now. So there's going to be a lot of cards in the hot list for that, but this is an honorable mention with Klay Thompson. In addition to that, Bowl Mania is absolutely crazy right now. He shows up in an NBA scrimmage game, he drops 16 points and 10 boards, follows it up with another 15-point performance, and then another 10 after that. 7-inch wingspan, longer than Giannis. This guy has so many skills, and I have no idea how I'd never really heard of him up until now. Apparently he was supposed to be a lottery pick, but he had some injury issues coming into the draft. What an absolute marvel this guy is going to be going into the offseason. There's going to be so much hype around Bowl going into next year. His growth and trajectory is either going to turn out to be Thon Maker or it's going to be Giannis Light, one of the two. Somewhere in between, it's a wide spectrum, but right now there's a lot of buzz around him. And his Prism rookies basically went from $1. Now they're trading between $20 to $25, maybe settling back down to maybe $15, but huge increase in Bowl prices. Last but not least, for honorable mentions, I have to throw in the Donruss Panini Optic Zion Williamson PSA 10 card. This card has gained over the past month. It did settle roughly around $250 in a PSA 10 grade. Now it's trading around $350, but it's just the volume of sales. So that's a good ROI jump, especially in a month, but especially with all the anticipation with NBA returning. But this card is trading also in very high quantities. So again, these are my honorable mentions for a month. Now we're going to jump into the top 25. So starting with the list with number 25, it is the 2019 Panini Select Concourse Zion Williamson PSA 10. This card recently came out, so we're starting to see some graded copies come in over the past couple of months. They started out in the $200 range. They've already jumped up to $350. So this is a card that I thought was actually hotter than the Optic. Well, it'll be interesting to see where that shakes out. I think Optic wins long term, but right now the Concourse card is doing very well. And again, remember, there's 3 parallels to this, or three base cards. There's the Concourse, the Premier, and then the Courtside. Obviously, the Courtside is the card to get, but unfortunately, there's just not that many of them out there. It is certainly expensive. It's going to keep going up. Very good investment choice, but for right now, the commodity card within Select is the Concourse. Next up is Panini Prism's Jason Tatum rookie card, graded PSA 10. This card has taken a meteoric rise, just like everything else in the hobby. Just a couple of months ago, this card was in the $300 range in a PSA 10 grade. Last month it was around 625. It looks like it's hit its peak right around 800 this month in PSA 10 grade. It's still steadily climbing, but now it's all going to depend on performance. Tatum didn't have his best debut in his first game against the Bucks to resume the NBA season. I think he had 5 points and really shot not that great. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does going into the playoffs. This is going to be a huge gauge on whether or not this card is going to continue to climb or if it's going to be stagnant or potentially drop. Once again, 2012 Panini Prism, and I did not purposely do this to put two Celtics back to back, but it just so happens that both of their cards have increased at a certain rate, and either due to volume or due to the ROI, they're just getting put together in the list right beside each other. But 2012 Panini Prism Kemba Walker PSA 10s, this card is going crazy right now. I submitted an order several months ago that had multiples of these cards in the order. It still hasn't been resulted back. PSA 10s at that time, I think it was around Christmas, January, they were around $80. Nobody was buying these cards. Now, again, everything 2012 Panini Prism is on fire. Last month, PSA 10s were around 250. There's not that many out there just because not many people have been grading Kemba Walkers over time relative to Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, etc. This card now is a $475 PSA 10 grade. And again, I'm going to have about 8 to 10 in some grade coming to me here shortly. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this card, especially as we go through the playoffs, as he is essentially replacing Kyrie Irving on the Boston Celtics squad. And if they make a deep run in the playoffs, look for Kemba, look for Jason Tatum, look for Jaylen Brown, all their cards to continue to increase in prices. Luka Doncic. I know you guys are probably calling me crazy because I have this card at number 21, but to be honest, there's just a lot of hot cards in the hobby. One of the big reasons why Luka's Prism PSA 10 rookie makes the list this month is mainly due to volume. I'm going to do a separate video on this looking at volume from a different angle, but the volume of transactions for this Luka Prism PSA 10 is absolutely substantial. Last month this was roughly an $800 PSA 10 card. Now it's trading at $1,000. Actually, if you look a little bit last night, they're trending up maybe around $1,100 or so. So a modest increase in gain, but they continue to sell like hotcakes. If anything, the PSA 9 has probably had the biggest ROI gain. So if you're getting into Luka, obviously, so the PSA 9s and PSA 10s both have had tremendous gains over the past month. So staying with Luka, now we're going to take a look at his Panini Donruss Optic, and this is the card that's actually seen the biggest gain over the past couple of months. So even if we looked right around the pandemic, this card was maybe in the $200 to $300 range, maybe hovering a little bit higher than $300 as we started a little bit deeper into the pandemic. Now it's steadily crept up, whereas last month PSA 10s were in the $400 range. Now they are trading and consistently above the $600 threshold, mainly around $650 to $675, some breaking $700 even. This card is a card that is a much lower pop than the Panini Prism rookie. It's going to be significantly more difficult to grade due to off-centering issues as well as some of the surface issues that come with the Optic print run. This is a card that a lot of people I think are undervaluing, and I think its value is actually being capped by the Panini Prism card due to this perception that Prism is better than Optic. If you look at the Optic Luka card relative to a Lamar Jackson in football or a Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, I think it is substantially undervalued. But again, if you look at the Prism rookies for Mahomes and also Lamar Jackson, those Prism rookies are out of sight right now. And again, I think it's the Panini Prism Luka Doncic PSA 10 value that's putting an artificial ceiling on the perception of what that Optic rookie should be. But we continue to see continued growth. I expect that this card is going to continue to grow over the next couple of months, assuming that Luka performs well in the playoffs. Going back to 2012 Panini Prism, again, 2012 Prism is on fire. If there's anything as close to a 1986 Fleer product out there, it has got to be 2012 Prism. I hate to say it, I'm not a big Panini Prism fan. I absolutely despise it. I didn't like it whenever it came out, but apparently that is what people are going after today, and with all this new interest that is coming into the market, that is what is selling. And Damian Lillard's card right now, who would have thought a PSA 10 Damian Lillard is now a $1,000 card? Maybe a little bit shy. I'm kind of rounding that up to a nice round number of 1,000. I think they're around 950, 960. But last month, we're talking about a card that was $600 in PSA 10 grade, and I didn't even look a couple months earlier than that. I mean, this card has steadily risen over time. Damian Lillard is an amazing talent. I think he's completely underrated, mainly because he's stuck in Portland on the Trailblazers team, and they're not really going to make a lot of push in the playoffs in the near future. But this card is absolutely on fire, as just is anything else 2012 Panini Prism. Next up is a card that I'm putting on this hot list. I personally would never invest in this card at all. I would never, ever invest in this card, mainly because the population reports are just absolutely bonkers. This just shows how hot this market is. 2019 Panini Prism LeBron James PSA 10. Last month, this was a $200 PSA 10, really $220 PSA 10. This is now a $400 PSA 10 grade. We are talking about a base card. A base card that has PSA population values for the entire print run very similar to 1989 Upper Deck. A set that has been out for 21 years, yet Panini Prism has PSA pop values almost as high as 1989 Upper Deck. I would never pay $400 for this card, but the rest of the world will. This is just shows how freaking hot this market is. If you are buying, grading in bulk, and selling, and you're able to sell in this market, you are doing very, very well. So this card is on fire. The Lakers uniform is apparently a thing, just like the Wizards uniform was with Michael Jordan back in the day. Do not forget that. Wizards cards were hotter than Bulls cards whenever they first came out. Base cards were higher. Everything was higher. It wasn't as crazy as today because of the attention that the market is getting. But again, this market is on fire. Anything with a Lakers uniform on it, anything shiny LeBron is on fire. So perhaps the hottest or most on-fire player in baseball has to be Luis Robert. Luis Robert, unbelievable start thus far. He had a ton of hype coming up after he finished his minor league season last year, just on a torrid pace, just really finished the upper levels of the minor leagues very, very strong. Had a very, very good start thus far. So he had a home run as well as a couple multi-hit games and also a very nice hitting streak going. Luis Robert, if he can not strike out, or if he can keep the strikeouts down moderately, this guy is going to be an absolute stud. He is by far the hottest rookie right now in baseball, by far. This is not his only stop on the hot list. So I have his Mega rookie here. Obviously, he has a regular version for the Bowman Chrome. His Mega seems to have the biggest jump from what I can tell. This was roughly a $170 card last month. Now it is trading at $400 in PSA 10 grade. So shiny stuff back in the 90s going up in value makes my heart very, very happy, because that's what started it all. Have respect for the originators. Have respect for Topps. Have respect for Bowman's Best, Bowman Chrome, Topps Chrome, Finest. All the sets that really started it all. This makes me so, so happy to present the number 16 hottest card today. A player who doesn't even play anymore from a set that is over 24 years old. Kobe Bryant's Bowman's Best PSA 10. This card has been consistently on the hot list over the past couple of months. I've talked about this card numerous times. It has grown. You can go back and check out my videos. Last month it was a $600 card, roughly $550 to $600. Now it is trading at $1,000 in PSA 10 grade. This is absolutely fascinating to watch. I love it. If you see what the Panini Prism cards are doing, it makes absolutely no sense that Finest, Bowman's Best, and Topps Chrome remain stagnant in an era where print runs were lower, cards were much more difficult to grade, especially Topps Chrome being off-centered, and also Bowman's Best for some of the years with a lot of the different surface gunk issues, etc. So very, very happy to see this now being a $1,000 PSA 10. People thought I was crazy, and you all listening, you know exactly who you are, and it's probably not people listening to this channel, but it's people who are from Blowout who are potentially listening. They always said Kawhi Leonard wasn't going to have hobby hype. Well, today is the day that they are proven wrong, my friends. A 2012 Panini Hoops Kawhi Leonard PSA 10 is now a 4-figure card. This card was $250 last month. 2 years ago, this is a card that you couldn't get out of a dollar box and give it away because people thought that Kawhi Leonard was not going to be a hobby success. Well, my friends, that is totally not the case anymore. Kawhi Leonard's PSA 10 Hoops rookie is now a $1,000 card. Let me repeat that. A 2012 Panini Hoops Kawhi Leonard PSA 10 is a $1,000 card. Just let that sink in. Let it sink in. But we're not done, because the number 14 hottest card is a SP Authentic Kawhi Leonard PSA 10 that is now a $450 card. So it's not a $1,000 card, but this last month was $250. There's so much interest going into Kawhi Leonard right now. So much interest. Again, if the talk is if he wins another MVP, if he wins another NBA Finals and another NBA Finals MVP, we are now having a conversation. Him and LeBron. So people continue to try to discount his first and second titles. So I actually do get the discounting a little bit, as he wasn't the main player in that 2014 title. But if he wins 3 rings with 3 different teams, especially the last year where it was his first year where he took the Raptors to a title game, and then if he does it with the Clippers and dethrones not only LeBron, presumably, in the West, but also an Eastern Conference opponent, unbelievable what this could do for his hobby value. Next up is another 2012 Panini Prism, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has not made any of my hot lists recently, but in my opinion, if you want to say that there is a Laker MVP, it has to be Anthony Davis, in my opinion. I don't see how you could say it's LeBron James. Even the very first game that the Lakers played and resuming back against the Clippers, it was Anthony Davis as the reason why they beat the Clippers. He led the team in scoring, led the team in rebounds. He currently leads the team in scoring, rebounds, blocks. He is the MVP, and he's not getting any hobby attention up until recently. Hopefully the national media narrative will change, and they will begin recognizing Anthony Davis as the player that he truly is, which is an MVP caliber player and someone who is worthy of being in the MVP conversation above anyone else in the league, including his own teammate LeBron James. His now PSA 10 Prism, PSA 10 rookie, was trading at $1,500 last month. It is now $2,500. There's a couple that even broke that, eclipsing $2,700 or $2,800. So this card is growing and growing and growing, and as Anthony Davis performs, especially if he performs in the playoffs, this is a card that could potentially approach Giannis PSA 10 rookie levels, or even Kawhi from 2012 Prism. So next up is a Zion Williamson PSA 10 rookie. And again, I put this card up here mainly because this is a card that has tremendous volume sales. So it's not as big of an ROI gain as some of the cards previously mentioned on the list, although last month it was a $600 card. Now it's approaching $1,000. Some of them are breaking $1,000, mainly in the $900 range. But this card trades at such a large volume. And again, this is a set that has had so many PSA cards graded from the entire set that it is mimicking 1980s baseball PSA pop reports. Yet the sales continue to roll in at approximately 4 figures. So to me, this is just mind-blowing that a Panini Prism rookie that has this great of a population report is able to sell consistently at such a high rate and also a high value. So it just shows all the attention that this card is getting, and to be quite honest, there very well could be a conversation that this could be a top 5 hottest card in the hobby right now, just due to the volume of sales and the demand for this card. So we're going to stick to 2012 Panini Prism, but we're going to switch sports a little bit, and mainly we're going to football with Russell Wilson. So I actually tried to buy a couple of these because I anticipated that this was going to be a hobby trend that occurred, especially with the basketball blow up. So I ended up going to baseball and getting some Mike Trout 2012 Panini Prisms, but then I also went to football and noticed that the Russell Wilson was selling very low at the time. But good luck trying to find a seller who's willing to sell you a mint copy, because most of the ones out there that are raw, they are not in mint condition, let me tell you. And because of that, and because of the low supply, and also this newfound awareness about 2012 Panini Prism, and Prism just being the thing now, this was a $450 PSA 10 last month, which was very high compared to previous months. It is now $1,500. Now there are 2 variations of this card. There's a towel up and a towel down. To be perfectly honest, I do not have the most knowledge on which one is the more short print variation. I do have what I believe is the variation pictured here. However, both of these are trading in excess of $1,500 in PSA 10 grades. So right now it is hot in Arizona, it is hot here in Phoenix, and Kyler Murray is also making it even hotter here in the area because his PSA 10 Prism cards have doubled in value in the past month. There's so much hype around Kyler Murray. There's so much hype about him getting new receivers and potentially what he can do with this new offense going into next year. All of his cards right now are just blowing up. So again, his PSA 10 Prism was a $350 card last month. It is now $700. So this is a card that I selfishly would like to put up on the hot list even higher and higher and higher, but I'm trying to be objective for you all, and I'm also trying to state that there are other cards that are hotter than this, but this card is certainly worthy of a top 10 nomination on the hot list. 2017 Panini Donruss Optic Patrick Mahomes PSA 10 rookie card. This was a $700 PSA 10 last month. It is now a $1,500 card. $1,500 card. Absolutely insane. Again, if you compare it to the Panini, the Prism rookie PSA 10, I still think that it's a little bit undervalued. I think there could be potentially some opportunity for this card to grow. The population report difference between this card and the Prism rookie is about a 2.5 difference in terms of there being more supply of the Optic, but this card continues to grow. Patrick Mahomes' record contract, Super Bowl win, MVP at such a young age. He has the entire league in his hands, and people are projecting what he is going to do over the next 5 to 10 years, all in his card values. So once again, Top Series 2 is out, and the hottest rookie, as previously mentioned, is Louis Robert. Not much else to say here. His parallels right now are absolutely on fire. His rainbow foil is about a $200 card. His gold, if you can find a clean copy, is in the $300 range. He has a SP variation that is trading around $300 to $350, and then he has a super short print that is trading roughly around $1,000, some in the $1,500 range. People are going absolutely crazy right now over Louis Robert. He is the rookie. He is the person who's getting all the attention right now, and rightfully so. So only if this had happened maybe 2 or 3 years ago, whenever I was loading up on Mookie Betts because I thought that people were going to see him for the value that he is actually bringing, very similar to Mike Trout. Not necessarily being Mike Trout, but at least Mike Trout light. That never happened. And again, people on Blowout always said, very similar to what they said with Kawhi, yeah, he's not really going to be a hobby stud. Well, thank God that this entire explosion in the sports card hobby has made him, as well as his record contract, a hobby star. His PSA 10 card has nearly tripled from 2014 Topps update. This was a $200 PSA 10 last month. It is now $560 and climbing. Everything Mookie Betts right now is on fire. Now, it is going to be very contingent now that the baseball season is underway that he perform. I know he struggled a little bit coming out of the gate, but assuming that he does Mookie Betts things and lives up to the hype out here in LA, unbelievable upside for this card. So next up is another 2018 Panini Donruss Optic card, but this again coming from football, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson cards are on fire right now, and most of that, I believe, is due to the comparisons between him and Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson was the MVP last year. Patrick Mahomes was the Super Bowl winner. Patrick Mahomes already has an MVP in his bag. Lamar Jackson does not have a Super Bowl ring, but Lamar Jackson has some wheels. And if he is able to figure it out and his offense is able to withstand a playoff run, he could be potentially the next Super Bowl winner outside of Patrick Mahomes to challenge in the conference. And I think people are seeing that. They're also seeing the values that Patrick Mahomes cards are going to right now, and that is bringing up everything else. So a rising tide lifts all boats. This Lamar Jackson PSA 10 was a $300 card last month. It is now close to $700. So this is a card that I'm hoping that everyone was able to get on board with right before the explosion happened. I don't have any PSA 10s of this card, but I do have some raw copies that I'm going to be sending off to get graded. They're probably not going to come back PSA 10. They're probably going to come back 9s, but Topps Chrome Kevin Durant, anything, PSA 8, PSA 9, PSA 10, it has grown tremendously over the past couple of months. Most of that is likely due to the comparisons between this card and the 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron James PSA 10, which is now, I haven't even checked recently, it's got to be a $20,000 card, which to me is just absolutely mind-blowing. But because people see that comparison, they see Kevin Durant, and they think, Kevin Durant's value can't just be this minuscule compared to LeBron James. It has to be at least a quarter of value. Or is it half value? Is it 3/4 the value? What is the value proposition? So again, very similar to the last example, rising tide lifts all boats. Kevin Durant stuff has shot up exponentially over the past couple of months. We've talked a lot about the Topps base rookies. Also his Fleer rookies have gone up, but Topps Chrome is the big one. It is the king. This card was a $2,000 PSA 10 last month. It is now a $5,000 PSA 10 and climbing. Cannot wait to see what he does next year with Kyrie Irving. I hope that he's able to win another championship. If he does, that certainly shifts the conversation. So both Kawhi, both Kevin Durant, both have something that they could potentially bring up against LeBron. And my, would that be interesting for the next 2 to 3 years in terms of who is the best and who has the best legacy. Next up, another Lamar Jackson card, and this is his Panini Prism rookie that has just, it's going to heights that I don't think anybody really ever expected. This card has a lot of things going for it, and the reason why it's gone from a $900 PSA 10 to a $3,000 PSA 10 is mainly due to condition. So similar to the Patrick Mahomes card in 2017, it's almost like Panini had the foresight to just ruin the best card from the set for back-to-back years in football. But this card is notorious for surface issues. So unlike some of the other 2018 cards, this card has a lot of surface issues, has a lot of surface marks on it that is really keeping the PSA 10 population report down. So I would expect the population report to not grow substantially compared to some of the other players in the set. But that is what has really pushed this card up, in addition to the price comparison between Patrick Mahomes. Talk about a freaking price explosion. Giannis Antetokounmpo Prism PSA 10. Go back to Gary Vee talking about this card 2 years ago whenever it was $500. Talk about me talking about this at the beginning of the pandemic whenever this was an $1,800 card to $2,000 PSA 10. Then it dropped to $1,500. I have video of you all showing the PSA 10 auction that I ran through Propstein. I think that mine was actually the lowest card that sold during the pandemic. So yay me. Now this card is a $4,800 card. We're talking in the middle of a pandemic. This card has more than tripled in value. It has more than tripled in value in the middle of a pandemic. Last month it was a $2,800 card. Now it's $4,800. So it's almost doubled in the past month alone. It is absolutely crazy. This card continues to climb. To my knowledge, it is the most expensive basketball Panini Prism base card in PSA 10 grade, and rightfully so, because it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. So even though the Giannis card has jumped up so much, it is not the hottest Panini Prism basketball card out there. That honor goes to our 2012 Panini Prism Kawhi Leonard PSA 10. So the Giannis PSA 10 has gone up a lot. The Kawhi Leonard card has gone up so much more, just in terms of ROI. This is a PSA 10 that last summer was $300. After winning an NBA title for the Raptors, this was a $300 PSA 10. I bought several of these raw last year after Kawhi won the championship, got them graded. I sold 2 of them in the $300 to $350 range. This card now is $4,000. It was $2,000 last month. I actually had 1 copy left that I ended up selling. I sold it for $3,375 a couple weeks ago, and even me selling it a couple weeks ago through Propstein, it has now shot up to $4,000. It just keeps going up, and part of me was like, do I keep riding this wave? 2012 Panini Prism, I'm telling you, 2012 Panini Prism continues to go up like a rocket ship. If you can find anything raw, get it. If you can get anything that is graded, that is relatively undervalued, that you think, get it, because it continues to climb and climb and climb. Last but not least, have we ever seen a card do what this card is doing in the marketplace ever? Drop a comment down below. Give me some examples. I know people are probably going to talk about Linsanity. I know people may talk about things that are flash in the pan, price increases, but I'm talking about some longevity, something with wheels to it. What we're seeing with the 2017 Panini Prism Patrick Mahomes rookie PSA 10 is something that I've never seen in the hobby ever. I've seen a lot of price trends. I've seen a lot of price increases. I've never seen a card value increase this exponentially in such a short period of time. And I do not think that it is artificial. I absolutely do not think that it is artificial. I think that this is a very genuine run-up. All of this is a perfect storm. Patrick Mahomes' contract, coming off of a Super Bowl win that has hype built into the offseason, his MVP season, all the advertising that we're now seeing with him. He is the face of the league. Everybody wants Patrick Mahomes. He is now turning the National Football League into a global football league, into a global sport. That used to be only basketball, but now he is in the same conversation as some of the basketball counterparts in terms of drawing attention from international markets, whether it be Asia, whether it be Canada, whether it be Australia, or even Europe. There's so many buyers who are actually wanting to buy Patrick Mahomes, not just from America, and that is totally new for football. Because of that, we are going to see some unbelievable opportunity with Patrick Mahomes, not just in his 2017 cards, but also 2018, 2019, 2020. Guys, buckle up. This is going to be a ride. If you want opportunity, I'm telling you right now, Patrick Mahomes has been one of my cash cows for the past year and a half. Buy Patrick Mahomes. Now, do I say buy this Prism rookie at $8,000 and I think that it's going to go to $15,000? I can't say that. I'm not good at that. I certainly would not recommend that. I'm not doing that. But what I will say is within his card market, there's a lot of opportunity, because there's a lot of attention right now on his rookie cards. There's a lot of attention on his PSA 10 cards, and rightfully so. Those are the things that are going to continue to go up in value as blue chip investments. But there are so many base cards and inserts and parallels that are going completely unrecognized right now. With the delta between this card and those base cards and those parallels, etc., there's a delta there that is unprecedented, and that delta has to be closed one way or the other. And I don't anticipate that his rookie cards are going down anytime soon. I see this again as everything going up, everything being lifted, mainly as the rookie cards go up, everything else is going to follow. So again, if you have an opportunity to get a very nice Mahomes card, get it, because I think that it's going to keep going up and up and up. Again, this is all predicated that he performs on the field, that he lives up to expectations, that he is the perennial MVP candidate, the perennial Super Bowl candidate, or title contender that we assume that he is going to be. But there's going to be a lot of opportunity here, guys. So that is all that I have to say regarding Patrick Mahomes. In regards to the hot list, thank you guys for checking this video out. I know that I'm long overdue for a hot list. I wasn't able to get content out in July. Again, with work, I'm wearing a lot of hats right now, so I was not able to put out any content in July for the most part. But now things are settling down. I'm able to get things out on a more consistent basis. If you have any thoughts about the hot list, any comments, or anything that you would like to offer in terms of an opinion, feel free to drop it down below. I'm going to do a lot better job, at least this upcoming month, in terms of interacting with a lot of the comments and also engaging with you guys who are watching. So thanks again for the watch. Thanks again. If this is content that you like and you have not subscribed, by all means, please subscribe. Please share it with others. I think this hot list is really cool, and it will hopefully help out a lot of collectors who are just now getting into the hobby, and which there's a lot of them. Trust me. There are so many people who are coming into the hobby right now who are hearing about what's happening, and they need to be educated. So this is something that can at least get something on their radar at a very high level that hopefully they can gain some value from. So thank you guys, and see you next time.